Hey, what's up, fellow ZZZers? Welcome to my quick, easy, no-YAP guide for Ellen Joe. Ellen is ZZZ's first limited S-rank agent, an ice attacker from the Victoria Housekeeping Co. Today, I'll be providing a quick overview of her character, going over her playstyle, talents, stat priority, best gear, and rotation. Ellen has two unique mechanics about which her playstyle and teams revolve. The first of these mechanics are her flash freeze charges, a secondary resource she generates while using specific abilities and then consumes by using basic attacks, causing said basic attacks to become empowered. These enhanced basic attacks do significantly more damage than her unempowered attacks, incentivizing only using basic attacks when she has flash freeze charges available to enhance them. Her second unique mechanic is Dash Roaming Hunt, an enhanced sprint that occurs when she holds down the dodge button, which allows her to move at high speeds and begin generating flash freeze charges with attacks. While in the roaming state, you can either press attack to hit an enemy and generate 1 charge, or hold the button to unleash a charged attack and generate 3. It should be noted that she can perform Roaming Hunt out of a perfect dodge, and performing this perfect dodge decreases the build-up time of her charged attack. Ellen can generate flash freeze charges only by using dash attacks out of her roaming state or by using EX special attacks, which also generate 1 charge each. Putting both of these mechanics together means Ellen's gameplay will consist mostly of entering roaming hunt, generating charges with her charged dash attacks and EX skills, and then using basic attacks to consume these charges and deal large amounts of damage at once. While Ellen's gameplay consists mostly of her flash freeze charge, generate, and spend loop, a significant amount of her damage comes from her ultimate and chain attack, making it your first priority. After that, you can level her special attack, basic attack, and dodge together, as the multipliers for her main damaging abilities are split relatively evenly over all 3. Lastly, you can level her assist, which contributes the least to her overall damage. For Ellen's stats, you mainly want to prioritize the common DPS stats like crit rate and crit damage, with attack percent and pen following after. It should be noted that Ellen's core passive increases the crit damage of her charged dash attack and empowered basic attacks, so it is easier to prioritize and stack crit rate, especially at first, in order to get full value from her kit. Ellen's signature W engine, Deep Sea Visitor, is her best in slot and currently the highest performing weapon for Ellen. It provides a huge amount of crit rate and a large ice damage increase, making it ideal in almost every situation. After that are the 2 other S-rank attacker W engines, the Brimstone and Steel Cushion, which both have high base attack and provide a lot of stats. Not far behind, however, are the A-rank options Starlight Engine, then Cannon Rotor, and finally Street Superstar, which all perform quite admirably on Ellen and begin to approach the level of the other S-rank W engines when enhanced to S5. As far as disk drive sets, Ellen actually has 3 viable options. The Woodpecker Electro set is her best overall set, but Polar Metal and Puffer Electro are also reasonably viable. Polar Metal is worse in her burst rotation, but a tiny bit better for basic attacks, and Puffer Electro is worse for basic attacks, but a small bit better in terms of pure burst damage. Her setup should be a 4-piece of Woodpecker Electro, plus a 2-piece of one of the other 2, or vice versa if you chose one of the other sets for the 4-piece. Lastly, for disk drive main stats, disk 4 should be crit damage or crit rate, disk 5 should be ice damage percentage, and disk 6 should be attack percentage. Ellen has 2 main rotations, one standard rotation for dealing consistent damage and daze to small enemies and enemies outside of stun, and one burst rotation for dealing large amounts of damage to already stunned enemies. Both consist of consuming flash freeze charges in sets of 3 by basic attacking 3 times in a row. The standard rotation is as follows: charged dash attack, then basic attack 1, 2, and 3. Ellen's third basic attack makes her dash through the enemy and throw her spear in a spinning attack. It's important to note that basic attack 3's duration can be extended by continuously tapping the attack button during the animation, and should be done under ideal circumstances to increase damage. This normal rotation will be your bread and butter, and can and should be mixed in with the occasional EX skill before basic attacks to avoid capping on energy. Ellen's burst rotation requires the decibel meter to be full, enough energy for Ellen to cast her EX special attack 3 times, and at least 3 flash freeze charges. This rotation should be used when an enemy is stunned and it is time to deal as much damage as possible in a short amount of time. The burst rotation is as follows: chain attack onto Ellen if possible, then use her EX special attack, then basic attack 1 to 3, her ultimate, her EX special attack 1 and 2, and then finish with basic attacks 1 to 3 again. This should use all of your resources and deals an extraordinary amount of damage to enemies in the stunned state. Ellen's overall gameplay loop should consist of using the standard rotation to build resources in days, and then, after pooling resources and buffing using other agents' abilities, using the burst rotation to expend all of your pooled resources and kill vulnerable enemies. Lastly, I will go over the best combination of teams that work with Ellen and provide the most support and damage. One of the most important things to keep in mind for Ellen's teams is that her additional ability provides a stacking ice damage increase of up to 30%, but only when she shares a team with another person of the same attribute or faction. This is a massive buff, but it also means that all of Ellen's ideal teams must contain either another ice agent or someone else from the Victoria Housekeeping Co. faction in order to maximize her damage. Thankfully, there's another ice agent on her banner in Sokaku and a plethora of other Victoria Housekeeping Co. agents in the game, so it's easy to fulfill the requirement for this ability. As such, Ellen's current best team is the Mono Ice team, which consists of her as the DPS, Lycaon as the stunner, and Sokaku as the support. Lycaon, while an S-rank unit, is Ellen's strongest teammate at the moment, as he provides a huge 25% ice resist shred debuff and increases the damage multiplier on stunned enemies. Sokaku is also a very strong support, providing a large attack bonus for Ellen and increasing the ice damage of all of her teammates. Together, they all fulfill each other's requirements of needing an additional ice agent on the team, and they all synergize well. If you have Lycaon, Rena and Lucy are also strong supports, giving a team-wide pen buff and attack buff respectively. Without Lycaon, her budget teams are still very strong. You would simply just replace him with Ambi or Kaleda or any other stunner that comes out in the future. You may have to forego your stunner synergy buff, but it's fine as long as you have another ice or Victoria Housekeeping agent for Ellen, as she does the vast majority of your team's damage. If you don't have Lycaon or Rena, Sokaku becomes a bit harder to replace, as you really want Ellen's synergy buff for her personal damage, and Sokaku's team buffs are quite bigger on their own. If you must, though, you can technically replace her with another support like Lucy or Nicole, given you have some way to fulfill your team's synergy requirements. Still, in that case, I would strongly recommend sticking to the Ellen plus Stunner plus Sokaku combo, at least until we get other supports or agents that also synergize well with Ellen. Lastly, Ellen's best bang boos are the S-Rank's Shark Boo for damage or Butler for energy if you have another Victoria Housekeeping agent. As for the A-Rank alternative, Penguin Boo will do just fine as well. The goal with bang boos, just like the teams, is to make sure you are activating the synergy requirement for their passive. Overall, I think Ellen is a very strong, fun agent that brings a lot of value to accounts without another premium DPS. She has a few more mechanics than the average standard S-Rank agent, but she's easy to learn and in practice feels very nice to play. You shouldn't feel compelled to roll for her, but if you're looking for a strong DPS to spice up the combat, then she may be perfect for you. This has been my Ellen Joe guide. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, as it really helps the channel out. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.